afternoon, everyone. It's Wednesday afternoon, November 3rd, in the mid-afternoon. And I think the highlight of the map today is the unseasonably warm temperatures that are going to be making it into the Midwest. Let's start off with the weather map today. This afternoon, we have high pressure system, which is centered over central Illinois. This high pressure is 30.4. Slight weakening is expected as it moves into the New England area. It will be reaching the New England area by Shabbos. And until then, Friday will be reaching northern Ohio and then New England by Shabbos. High pressure will be weakening to 30.3 as it does so. And then after Shabbos, it moves off the coast. And that's when we're really going to start to get those south winds. For us, it's already by Friday night, and especially Shabbos and Saturday night, those south winds really kick up for the Chicago area and for much of the Midwest, bringing much warmer temperatures into our area. Elsewhere on the weather map, we have this low pressure system over in Texas today. That low pressure system is going to be moving east, and it's going to be strengthening. Although it's going to be moving slow, it will be strengthening, producing more than 3 inches of rain for many locations. But as it does move east, Dallas, Texas, and many areas in Texas are finally going to see a warm-up, as it allows the high pressure to produce south winds even over there. This low pressure system is then going to move off into the northern Florida area and then move off the coast by Friday afternoon. And it's not clear exactly what track this storm will be taking on Shabbos. It either is going to continue well out into the Atlantic, or it's going to first turn north and then go well out into the Atlantic. Either way, it looks like the Carolinas might be getting affected by this rain. The question is, will north areas get affected by this rain as well, areas north of the Carolinas? Meteorologists do not think that that's what's going to be happening right now. However, something very interesting is that this low pressure system also might be getting another name as a subtropical storm. It might become into a subtropical storm even if for just a short period of time. This is just amazing to see such tropical storms being named. It's just mamish amazing, these low pressure systems that develop inland, and this thing then turns into a tropical storm. Quite amazing stuff. Elsewhere on the weather map this afternoon, we have the low pressure as usual over in the desert southwest. That low pressure is just because it's so hot. It's so relatively hot over there that the air is just always rising over there. So there's always a low pressure system over there with very little significance other than the fact that it is low pressure. At least I can't figure out any other significance. There's always an L on the weather map during the summer months, and even now, even though it's not the summer months, in the winter that L is going to go away, but it's still there for now as we see temperatures well into the 80s over in Phoenix, Arizona, Las Vegas, Nevada, high temperatures today in the low 80s. We have warming temperatures out west in the Rockies and on the west coast as temperatures rise up into the 60s, all the way up into Idaho, even in Montana. These are places that received a blizzard just a couple of weeks ago. We also have temperatures going into the 70s for North Platte, Nebraska. That's one of the cities that got the most snow out of the previous system, of 5.8 inches of snow. They're going to see high temperatures going into the 70s within just a couple of days. And then we go over into Amarillo, Texas. That's a favorite city of anyone who loves to follow wacky weather. Amarillo, Texas certainly is the place to be. High temperatures are going into the mid-80s by next week. Amarillo, Texas, saw temperatures. There's every reason in the world to believe that temperatures dropped into the 30s over the past few days in Amarillo, Texas. At least 40. In fact, overnight lows, I think tonight, are expected to go down to around 30 degrees. Daytime highs warming into the mid-80s for next week. That warm temperatures, the warm air, is going to be the result of two things. Number one, south winds coming on the back of a high pressure system that is going to be moving off the coast of New England. But number two is a high pressure ridge that's going to be moving overhead in the upper atmosphere, high pressure over our area. This building ridge is going to produce unseasonably warm temperatures. High temperatures will be going into the 70s for St. Louis, Missouri. 70s for St. Louis, Missouri. Imagine that. It's not so unbelievable. It is November. I want to go back to Amarillo, Texas just for a second. The high temperatures, I think, on Tuesday are expected to at least tie the record of 86 degrees. I believe that's on Tuesday. And there's other places in the Texas area where the record's going to be broken. They're going to be breaking records over there. One has to wonder what exactly are the temperatures going to be in southern Texas, and especially Rio Grande Village, Texas, which tends to be 15 degrees warmer than El Paso, Texas. One would have to assume that for sure those temperatures are going into the 90s. That's what one would think. And speaking of Texas, the hottest temperature in the United States yesterday was 92 degrees in the Texas area. Now, I would like to get back to my thing over here, a little speaker thing, so that we can get some good, so I can hear my audience. I wasn't able to hear my audience for a while. That's very unfortunate, because I know the audience would be clapping away when they hear about these unseasonably warm temperatures. How could I possibly speak about Amarillo, Texas? Just pretend like you never heard what the high temperatures are going to be. And you know what the highs are going to be in Amarillo, Texas? This is definitely deserving of a drum roll. High temperature, 86 degrees, 86 degrees. Meanwhile, today we have snow that's still falling up in the northern Michigan area and also in New York area. Some places over there got 8 inches of snow already. That's a result of Arctic air. This is for real, Arctic air. No matter what you call it, you can call it a Canadian front, you can call it an Arctic front. This has been verified. Meteorologist Tom Skilling said on television, we have Arctic air moving over the Great Lakes. The Great Lakes have unusually warm water temperatures, 59 degrees for Chicago, but nonetheless, the snow is falling heavily. It's not falling as rain, it's falling as snow, and those places are seeing 8 inches of snow, 5 to 8 inches of snow for those areas. Just unbelievable. It's not really so unbelievable. It is November, but those places also are going to see a warm-up. But those places are also going to see a storm system that moves through those areas over on Shabbos. That storm system might bring a sprinkle. There's a 15% chance, but the National Weather Service is not mentioning at this time. They will not mention anything that's less than a 20% chance here in Chicago, unlike the Miami National Weather Service and the Denver, Colorado National Weather Service, which mentions even a 10%. And that's due to the climatology in those areas. But over here, it's still less than 20%, so no precipitation is being mentioned in the forecast, and many forecasts do not mention any precipitation. We're just going to go through a stretch of dry air for at least until Tuesday next week. There's a possible cold front, depending on which computer model you follow, in regards to next week, but it doesn't seem like it's going to be such a significant cold front. But at the very end of next week, this sounds like we're really far out, but there was a top-notch meteorologist who said this with confidence, a much colder weather pattern will be developing. Right now, we are transitioning back to the summer weather pattern. Unbelievable stuff. And St. Louis always seems to get warmer than whatever they think. In these types of situations where it's warm and dry, and this time of the year, those temperatures tend to get warmer. I'm going to forecast a high of at least 75 degrees for one day in St. Louis. I know that's not in the forecast right now, but one of those days in the beginning of next week, we'll see highs in the mid-70s. Warm front moves up and over Cleveland, Ohio, Sunday night, late on Sunday, but that warmer air is already going to be in Chicago on Sunday. A lot of times the warmer air somehow pulls ahead of the front by warm fronts. Cold fronts are very well defined, but warm fronts are not. It's kind of strange. Warm fronts are not. But by Monday, everyone's going to be in the warm air. Temperatures in the mid-60s. And Tuesday, temperatures in the mid-60s. That's right before a possible cold front moves through. So I think the highlight over here, the highlight for the southern states is the heavy rainfall. For the East Coast, they're watching this storm system. Will it be moving somewhat up the coast, or will it be moving away from the coast? The Carolinas will probably be getting rain no matter what. If it does affect the East Coast, will it be falling as rain in the Appalachian Mountains, or will some of it be falling as snow? Also, will that storm system be turning into a tropical storm again? Unbelievable. That's one of the highlights over here that we're talking about. Also, currently, until we get this high pressure system out of this country, we are dealing with freezing temperatures, bringing an end to the growing season. Temperatures dropped into the 20s everywhere last night in the Chicago area, except for Midway Airport, but the overnight low was 30 degrees, and the lakefront probably saw lows about in the low 30s, but freezing temperatures again tonight. Also for the St. Louis area, freezing temperatures again tonight. That means the original forecasts, which called for the coldest night of the weeks to be Wednesday night and Thursday night, have not materialized. Rather, the coldest nights of the weeks is last night and tonight for the St. Louis area. The warm-up starts on Thursday. On Thursdays, when the warm-up starts for both St. Louis and Chicago, gradually warming temperatures warming into the 60s by Sunday, especially for St. Louis, and then temperatures warming probably into the low 70s for St. Louis, temperatures going well into the 60s, maybe even well into the 60s for the Chicago area for early next week. Then there's a questionable storm system arriving midweek next week, and there are different solutions as to what to do to that, But by the weekend, it looks like, according to meteorologist Tom Skilling, we're going to see some colder weather move into the Chicago area, but that's very far off from now. The Northwest is going to continue to see a parade of storm systems, and we have those 10 to 28 feet of snow that continues to fall in southern Alaska, and the Washington Post continues to publish articles about that and about some other stuff as well. We have dry and warm again in the desert Southwest. That brings our forecast to an end. Everyone, enjoy. I wish everybody good luck this weekend in enjoying the really warm weather, especially Sunday onward. And you never know when we're going to get it next this time of the year. It's already November, and especially with outlooks for the next week as being cold, just enjoy it while we have it. I wish everybody a wonderful day, and thank you for listening.